So today's discussion was fascinating for me, and I think the key things that I'm taking away, one is that we're all facing the same issues. We're all facing a very rapid pace of change in our environments, volatility, unpredictability, and we're now having to build that into our businesses. It can't be this sort of black swan event scenario anymore. It really has to be that our businesses are change ready.
If you then take it into the context of the CFO, where we are the custodians of the financial resources, my biggest challenge is within the defined risk appetite, defined strategy, how do I make sure that the allocation of those resources are the one that will deliver us the profitable growth that we require?
We see ourselves as an enabler when it comes to managing the risks in the business. So risk management for the whole of the business falls under the role of the CFO.
I think of the CFO as a conscience, and I think in a shifting world where you're starting to see millennials play a much bigger part in a global landscape of saying, this isn't good enough, and I'm going to vote with my feet. I'm going to vote on a social media platform and shut your brand down if I think you're doing the wrong thing. I think in that world, the CFO as a conscience is more important than ever.
A lot of what you can say in the social media can actually destroy your own brand as an individual, and so we've come up with, as a bank, with training modules which focus on things like that, personal branding and focusing on social media specifically.
There are so many learnings and use cases that we can have from each other. So, actually having more of these forums and communities is going to be critical because if we aren't learning, one person may be doing something amazing with data, another person may have discovered something incredible about cybersecurity. And so the more we connect on these common issues, the more I think we'll all succeed.
Do you think we run a risk that information is going to become too much?
We can't control the information. We can't purport to be the source of all trusted information. We're not, right? Information is out there in the world, but how do we make sure that we're verifying what's out there? And I think that's probably the job of most organizations now, is to sort of make sure that whatever you're doing has been validated, or whatever information you're getting has been validated.
Identifying opportunities as well. So what are the opportunities associated with those risks? And then dealing with the business on a day-to-day basis.
As CFOs look at risk, I think the three things they really need to think about. The first one is around how they're using technology to better help them have perspective. The second thing for me is really talent. Do you have the right people in your organization? Do you have a diverse enough organization in terms of people who bring different perspectives, different backgrounds, different points of view, so that when you are looking at opportunities, you're able to see the risks, and when you're looking at risks, you're able to see the opportunities. And the third thing for me is culture, because if you don't have the right culture in the organization, a CFO can never really be proactive. They're always going to be reacting to things that are happening in their environment. So I think those three things are really key for me.
What steps are you taking to start dealing with the risk of cybersecurity?
Us just being good is actually not good enough. We need to make sure how we think about the investment, we think about the entire value chain of a banking transaction. And so we spent a lot of time in sharing information and sharing ideas on how we improve the security point throughout the value chain, and not just try to make sure that we're really good at it, because we've learned that's not good enough.
Well, I'm partner at KPMG, and in fact this is the first CFO South Africa event that I've attended. So I really found it most insightful, enjoyable. I enjoyed the networking and of course lovely venue and nice breakfast and refreshments. And what I really found is that we had insights into different industries, CFOs, banking and gold mining, very different industries, but just the practical way in which they have to deal with risk management, the day-to-day jobs that they work on. Sneha's presentation was fantastic. I really enjoyed the visualization of all the data analytics, and very interesting the manner in which they changed their culture over that 5-year period and the results of that. And I think that is something that certainly we can think about going forward. Right at the end, I was worrying that we hadn't considered cyber risk and cyber security risk, but there was a question asked, and I'm pleased that was asked, and I think that's something we've got to concern ourselves with going forward.